Using the debugging features of any modern IDE is super helpful in trying to figure out what problems are happening with your program. So I have a simple hello world program here. It creates two variables. One is an integer and one is a string. I'm then going to change the value of the integer, and then we're just going to print out two variables. To use the debugging features, the first thing you need to notice is if you come to the side, you can see there's little red circles. If I click to add a breakpoint, as it said, what will happen is the program will stop running at that point. So it will not execute line 3. It'll pause and let me step through my program. To do this, you can do a couple things. Over on the side here where the little bug and run is, you can click there and you can say run and debug. You can do the same thing over here. You can click the little drop down arrow and you can either run your program or you can go into debug mode. So if I just hit run, it will actually just completely run my program. So we're going to do that first. So it will compile and it will actually run my program. So there's the two output lines. It will give some extra stuff here that we don't normally see when we're doing it by the command line. So that's why we don't normally use that to run our program. But the other option is to go to debug. So I'm going to hit debug and it will actually compile. And now you can see at the bottom, there's this red bar, and that's to warn you that we're actually in debug mode. And also there's extra information over on the side. So we're going to focus on these variables and the watch, and eventually we're going to talk about the call stack. So our program is paused right here, and this line has not happened. Okay, so over in our variables, this variable sum int has not been created yet. You'll see I have this little bar over on the side, and the one we're going to focus on is the little down arrow, which stands for step into. You can also stop debugging at any time. And if you want to just continue and finish, you can hit that button there. So if I hit this step into or the F11 key, it will actually execute this line of code. So I'm going to hit that, and you will notice I get some information over on the side because the variable sum int has now been created, and I can see the value over here in my variables. So we're going to hit this again, and then it will create this variable called sum string. So I'm going to click there and notice it's been created, and this variable now holds that string right there. Step through another line by adding 42 plus 42 and replacing what is in this current variable. So we'll do that, and you can see it goes to 48. And now what I want to do is print out to the terminal down here this variable called sum string, which contains hello world. So when I click this, you'll notice something different happened. So what's happening here is you'll notice we're in the print stream class, and we're actually in the method called printline. Well, that's because we told it to go there, but we're still stepping through our code. Now, this is a built-in class. We probably do not want to debug through all of this. We actually want to just carry on down to the next line, so we can put another breakpoint there and click the just continue button, and it will just keep running our program. So we'll hit continue, and you'll notice there we go, we've stopped here again. Okay. Once again, if I click the step into, it will execute the print line function, but it'll hop back here. So click there, and you notice it hops back here. Once again, we don't really want to step through the built-in method, so we just want to continue, but that's the end of our program. So we can just hit carry on, and it will finish running our program. Other options that you can do, I'm just going to go back to debug mode again, is there's this watch. So say there's a particular variable that might or might not show up here, or some kind of equation that I'm interested in understanding what would its value be. So I'm actually going to stop this and let's create some equation that does 42 times what is already in the variable. So if I'm interested in like, what does this equal at any point of my program, I can select it and I just alternate click or hit the right-hand mouse button. And when we're in debug mode, you will be able to add a watch there. So I'm gonna once again go into debug mode and I'm gonna select this, alternate click, and there should be an add watch. There we go, at the bottom now. So add watch will add some equation or variable or any kind of expression, and it will evaluate it for you all the time. This is super valuable when you have if statements and you're trying to figure out if it's true or false or not. So as we step through, now that this has a value, it's actually taking 42 and multiplying it by 42 and showing you what it is at every single step. So when we change this value, this over here will auto update for us. Okay. So that's how you can use adding watch to help you try to figure out any of your problems with your code.